You ever wake up to a grown woman with a megaphone screaming at your face that you're gonna regret ever buying your own house? Yeah, that was me, barely halfway through my first cup of coffee, staring at Diane Peton, HOA president, self-appointed queen of my lakeside street, while a mob of about 50 people gathered outside my front gate like it was the town square in an old western. The lady at the front looked ready to rip down the wooden fence my grandfather built by hand 40 years ago. Name's Garrett Westbrook, horror writer. Yeah, you'd think I'd be used to nightmares. But let me tell you, nothing in my wildest fiction ever matched what happened after I moved to this lake house 3 years back. If you've ever had a run-in with a nightmare HOA, drop a comment. Because I promise, it gets wild. The morning had started out beautiful, too. Lake glowing gold, water as smooth as glass, my laptop open and taunting me with a chapter that just wouldn't write itself. All I wanted was some peace, the same kind of peace my granddad treasured when he first bought this land back, when there were 5 houses on the whole damn road. Now there's dozens. Every one of them stamped with that HOA logo like some kind of secret society. But my little patch of heaven, my deed goes way back, 1982, before anyone even dreamed up the idea of a homeowners association. The mailbox had delivered one of those thick, fancy envelopes, some HOA community resource optimization meeting, whatever that means. I ignored it, wasn't my circus. But my phone kept buzzing, one unknown number after another. I picked up on the third try, figured maybe it was important. Hello, Mr. Westbrook. This is Diane Peton. I'm the president of the Lakeside Homeowners Association. Her voice was that kind of fake bright you only get from people who always get their way. She wanted to find a mutually beneficial arrangement about the lake, said it would be good for the community. I told her, as politely as I could, that my property predates her HOA, and I'm not interested in arrangements. She got a little firmer, suggested we talk face to face. Threw in some neighborly guilt for good measure. I nipped it in the bud, gave her my email, said I was busy with a deadline, then hung up. But the peace was gone, like a rock tossed in the middle of my calm morning. From there, it got weird fast. White SUV rolling past my house, someone inside snapping photos of my gate. The sign, the path to the water, didn't even try to hide it. I started feeling like I was living inside one of my own books. That night, I locked the doors for the first time in months. Listened to the loons out on the water and told myself it was probably just in my head. Then I checked my voicemail. 3 messages, all Diane, polite as ever, but with just enough steel in her voice to let me know this wasn't going away. This is time-sensitive, Mr. Westbrook. I deleted them all. Writers can smell manipulation from a mile off. Fake urgency, threats dressed up like favors. I almost missed the piece, sitting out on my dock as the sun dipped. Purple and orange behind the trees, thinking of my granddad's advice. Don't let anyone take this from you, but don't be cruel, either. He'd always welcome the neighbors, let the kids fish off the dock, but he drew his lines in the sand. This is your place now. Be a good steward. And suddenly, I was thinking, am I the one being stubborn? But then that white SUV rolled by again. Slow and deliberate, camera out the window. That wasn't neighborly. That was reconnaissance. Next day, Diane showed up at my gate with 2 board members in tow, Hunter and Patricia, dressed for a business meeting in July. She brought a surveyor's map and tried to play friendly. Yours is the only property with direct lake access for 2 miles, Mr. Westbrook. That's 47 families you're keeping from the lake. I pointed out there's public beaches 5 miles away. Patricia tried to sweeten the deal. The HOA will maintain everything. You won't be burdened. But I knew what it meant. Strangers coming through my property whenever they felt like it. Diane's smile tightened. Are you familiar with nuisance law, Mr. Westbrook? There it was, the threat, wrapped in legal mumbo-jumbo. Lucky for me, I have an old college buddy, Miles Kirkland, now a real estate attorney. I called him up, paced my kitchen, told him everything. He told me, first, nuisance law doesn't override valid property rights. They're bluffing. Second, document everything, every email, every call, every little detail. And get security cameras. Oh, and check your state laws. See if there's any way they could claim an easement. Miles promised to send me some templates for a written response. I wrote one up, polite but firm. Attached a copy of my deed, date and all. Sent it to every board member. Within the hour, I got my first hate mail. You're selfish. Kids deserve to swim. You're going to regret this. I saved it, then started measuring sight lines for the cameras. The hate poured in, 15 emails by breakfast, 24 by noon. Subject lines like, think of the children, and selfish neighbor alert. Diane had framed me as the villain. Told everyone I was hoarding the lake. But then, one anonymous email. Some of us understand property rights. You have quiet support. It meant something, but I knew how this worked. Diane used fear. Social pressure. Mob mentality. Then it got physical. I went out for the mail, red spray paint across my gate. Share the lake. The wood, the hand-carved scenes of the lake and mountains, ruined. I called the police. Officer Brennan came out, older guy, calm but no nonsense. You're not the first person to have trouble with that association, he told me. Keep documenting. Cameras are a good idea. I spent that afternoon scrubbing paint, trying to erase the hate from something my granddad spent months building. As I worked, I found trash dumped all over my yard. Beer cans. Takeout containers. Took pictures, added it to my growing evidence folder. Next day, the cameras arrived. I set up 4 gate, dock, property lines. Now my phone buzzed with alerts every time so much as looked at the house. Did it help? Not at first. Diane's white SUV cruised by, slow as ever. Then a text. You think cameras will protect you? We're 47 families. You're just one. Accidents happen. Be careful when you drive. Ice water in my veins. I sent it to Officer Brennan. Keep your doors locked, he told me. Call 911 if anyone approaches. That night, I double-locked every door and window. The lake looked peaceful under the moon, but I knew better now. Sometimes the real monsters have names and SUVs. Saturday came, and the real showdown started. I woke up to shouting, looked outside, and there they were. 40, maybe 50 people, kids with pool floats, parents with coolers, like it was some kind of block party. Diane stood dead center with a megaphone, talking about community rights and shared resources. I started recording. Then I saw a guy try to climb my fence, a woman working the gate with bolt cutters. That's when I called 911. 50 people are trespassing, some are forcing entry. I need police now. The dispatcher kept calm, said officers were on their way. The crowd started chanting, open the gate, open the gate. I kept recording. When the police rolled up, 2 cruisers, lights flashing, the energy shifted. Suddenly, everyone was innocent, Diane smiling, trying to play it like a garden party gone wrong. Officer Brennan wasn't buying it. This is private property, he said. You're trespassing. Diane tried to argue, but Brennan wanted documentation. I handed him a copy of my deed. He called it in, came back confirmed. Anyone who doesn't leave immediately will be cited for trespassing. Folks packed up quick after that. Diane tried to rally. We'll pursue this legally. Brennan just handed her a citation. Explain it to the judge. When the dust settled, Diane posted in the HOA Facebook group, spinning it as police harassment at a peaceful community gathering. But this time, people pushed back. Private property rights exist for a reason, some said. Maybe we're in the wrong here. The cracks were showing. But Diane wasn't done. Next came emails about community safety, blaming me for forcing families into dangerous situations. She tried to hit me with a special assessment fee for not contributing to amenities, but even her own board admitted my property wasn't in the HOA. Then came the final straw, a bogus legal notice about eminent domain, threatening that the county would seize my lake access. I sent it to Miles. He just laughed. They can't do that. Save it for evidence of fraud. Something shifted. Out of nowhere, other neighbors started reaching out. People Diane had bullied before, about fences, about sheds, about paint colors. They had records, emails, proof of her threats. I gathered it all, built a timeline. Miles called it competence porn. I called it survival. Now we had a pattern, not just one crazy campaign. Finally, Diane called a public meeting, tried to turn the whole thing into a vote about declaring my access path a public easement. She played the room like a politician, slideshows of kids, unjust enrichment, every guilt trip in the book. When she finished, she turned to me. Would you like to explain yourself? So I did. I walked up, plugged my laptop in, and laid out every piece of evidence. Deed, emails, photos, video of the mob, records of misuse of HOA funds, and even a leaked email where Diane admitted she wanted my access so her house value would jump. The room exploded, not at me, but at her. Board members turned on her, voted to suspend her on the spot. The apology letter from the HOA board was in my mailbox the next morning. No more legal action, promise of an audit, and a personal apology from the new president. Diane got slapped with a restraining order, a fine, criminal harassment charges, even had her real estate license suspended for 6 months. She tried to spin herself as a victim online, but the tide had turned. People started coming out with their own stories. Within a week, she'd put her house up for sale and vanished from the group. The new board asked me if I'd consider a voluntary arrangement. Let a few respectful families use the lake. No legal strings, just goodwill. I thought about it and said yes, but on my terms. Limited use, advance notice, only for people I trusted. First family to use it left a crayon drawing in my mailbox. Stick figures, a blue lake, big yellow sun. Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. That one still lives on my fridge. Now, 3 months later, peace is back. Diane's gone. The board is focused on potholes and gardens, and I finally finished my book. Feels different this time, like I earned this peace, didn't just inherit it. My granddad would have understood. That old wooden gate stands proud, hand-carved sign shining with fresh paint. The bench I built by the water has a plaque. Peace through respect. Since 1982. Some evenings, the neighbor who helped get Diane removed comes by to sit, and we talk about the way things used to be. You showed them it's possible to defend your rights without being cruel, she told me. She's right. This was never about revenge. It was about proving that when you stand your ground, when you document the truth and refuse to be bullied, even the loudest mob can't steal what's yours. There's a satisfaction in that, a quiet, earned kind of peace. And I hope the next generation just knows the lake as a place to watch sunsets, not as a battleground. So let me ask, what would you have done? Is justice about holding the line, or is it about finding compromise, even when you're right? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you made it this far, share this story with someone who needs a plot twist in their life. See you at the lake.